We bring in now Dr. David Chao at Pro Football Doc on Twitter. We'll get to your announcement in a minute, Dr. Chao. Appreciate you getting up early with us. But I want to start with what exactly is going on in your mind with the Patriots and the Titans and the positive tests as it pertains to both. Positive out there, by the way. There are no new positives with the New England Patriots. We haven't heard any update with the Titans so far.
Well, initially, when I heard about the new positives, that was quite a scare because perhaps we were headed to outbreak status again. But it looks like the news is relatively muted. First of all, the Titans didn't have two positives. There was one positive, Corey Davis, and one inconclusive that's being rerun. And the Patriots only had the one, as you said, no new news today. And likely, potentially, word was Cam had dinner with Stephon Gilmore on Friday. He tested positive on Friday, but didn't get the results until Saturday. So it's not like they knew and they had dinner together. And so hopefully that mutes some of the things. And I love your story about your son. I can't wait to meet him. That is really gangster, that he had huge news and the fact that you didn't break it. And what's good news about that is initially when that news broke, the way it was reported in the present, it misled me to believe that after all the issues, after all the outbreaks, after all the memos from the NFL, the Titans players flew in the face of that and blatant disregard for that in practice. Not really true. The NFL hadn't come out that hard yet that day that they got together about all the new rules and what needed to happen. And so I think it was players being players, and it was one practice last Friday. It's not like they did it this week after everything happened.
Yeah, look, they thought that they might, based on what I heard from my son, that they showed up and they worked out, in shorts and T-shirts. But at the time, they thought they might be playing against the Steelers. This is last week when they were working out together. And they wanted to be prepared for a game, and they were locked out of their facility. Now, they're still locked out of their facility now. I don't know when it might open back up. I'm curious on your end, when do you think that a team needs to be able to get back to their facility in order to play a game on Sunday? I mean, in your experience, I know you're not a head coach, but you have worked as a team doctor. When would it be necessary? When's the absolute last day that you could suddenly be able to get back to your facility and actually play a game?
Well, the devil's in the details on everything. My reaction initially to the Titans working out was, heck, they're going to forfeit the game because they flew in the face of the NFL. But now that you figure out it was over a week ago on Friday when they were still playing the Steelers, it's different. As far as when a player might be ready to play, it depends on the player. Look, some of the veteran guys might love the rest, right? I mean, you don't get out of shape in 1 week per se. But some of the young guys may really need the mental reps. And, of course, there's no prohibition from the players working out on their own. It's just gathering is where the prohibition is. So it's more, I think, about scheme and what you can do. Look, if I'm the Bills, you look at the Titans and you say, well, how do you really install new plays? This isn't like playground where you just draw it up in the dirt. Are they really going to look any different when they play this week? And you really can rely on the game film as opposed to expecting some surprises.
What are we looking at for the health situations for the Bucks and for the Bears tonight for people that are going to be watching Thursday Night Football?
Well, look, I'm not a tout. Clay, you pick games. All your guys pick games. I just give medical advice. And I know the vast majority of you, except for Eddie, are on the Bucks. But as was pointed out, they don't have any targets for Tom Brady. Chris Godwin is out as we always expected. Careful, Mike Evans is likely a decoy. He's a beast. He's probably going to try and play through that high ankle sprain. Scotty Miller has hip and groin issues and likely will play. Mike Evans is likely a decoy. O.J. Howard, as you said, is out. Rob Gronkowski is there, but Leonard Fournette is out. LaShawn McCoy's out with an ankle. So it's Ronald Jones. And if Rob Gronkowski doesn't shine today, then he never will, because this really is his chance to shine because he's the main healthy guy out there. And I do agree with defenses being healthy and the offensive issues with Tom Brady's pass catchers and the potential offensive issues with Nick Foles struggling. It does play out to seem to be an under. But I always say use the medical information at Pro Football Doc to make your own decisions.
Who else is out there? I know it's still a couple of days away, but as we move in for these Sunday games, who is standing out to you as being particularly health issue laden as we get ready for these games?
Well, it's hard to say this, but the Jets get worse, right? The Jets have not been great, and they get worse. It was interesting, and we wrote an article at Outkick on how they let Sam Darnold take a shot, an injection to his throwing shoulder and finish the game, but now they're saying it's too dangerous and they need to rest him. So the Jets' health gets worse. Maybe Le'Veon Bell comes back, but their linebackers are still out. The wide receiver issues, they get worse. San Francisco hopes to turn the corner to get better. Deebo Samuel will be second week back. Jimmy Garoppolo looks to play. But, the Eagles are still the Eagles in their injuries. The Cowboys' offensive line and the linebackers are still injured. Haven't done the full analysis yet. That will be up usually a Friday night with the field view and injury indexes. And not only does it give you some insights into sides and totals, but pay attention to the prop bets. Early on, we said, look, George Kittle's going to have a big game for a multitude of reasons. And obviously, heck, he covered in the second quarter in his prop. And, don't believe the hype that Chris Carson wasn't going to play. And he had 100 total yards and 2 touchdowns in his game for Seattle. So we try and give out a bunch of different nuggets, all health and injury related, things that aren't reported. We don't take something from the media and regurgitate it. We take video, we take media information, we stitch it together and use my 17 years in the NFL as a head team physician to analyze the situation and give you the best thoughts.
What news do you have? You wanted to come on and talk about some big news for Pro Football Doc. Obviously, you can go read Dr. David Chao at Outkick as well. What have you got for us?
Well, as a thank you to you, Fox Sports Radio and Outkick listeners, because you guys have been so good to me. We have some exciting news for everybody. Everyone has loved the new revamped website with field views and injury indexes, and you haven't gone there. Here's now your chance. But the big thing is, because we have a staff of 10 or 12 people, we had to pay them all, so it was a charge service. And everyone's like, how can I try this out? I want to do more for free. Well, we just closed $1 million round of funding, and we did that in response to listeners, your listeners, and the followers. And now we can offer it this entire season for free. And that's the press release that's going out in minutes here, 9 a.m. Eastern time, that we've closed out $1 million round of funding, and we have opened up the floodgates. So go to profootballdoc.com, and it is completely free. And you heard it here first.
That's awesome. So you can go to profootballdoc.com and you can get hooked up, and that's awesome. Congratulations on the round of financing. Obviously, things are going well that people are ponying up to put dollars down.
Yeah, and look, I'm the content guy, right? This is sort of the business side, and I've just keep concentrating on putting out big content. And this was the business decision that I was thrilled with. I wasn't thrilled about putting a paywall on there, but I get the necessities. If people see what we do in the war room and everything that we're putting out, you know it takes a staff of people. And it's not going, and any of the previous money wasn't going to my pocket. And by the way, anyone who's already paid to sign up through, your good word of mouth and whatever, they're all getting refunds because we have the $1 million round of funding, and we're not trying to cheat anyone on anything. Everyone's going to get it. And the special founders that have been with us get special founder status already. So I think everyone's taken care of, and I'm proud of that.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you. You've been doing outstanding work for us at Outkick, and I'm glad that things are going well for you and your professional life as well.
Thank you very much.